Hello everyone. I'm here with an update of my current planner system. Some of you may be aware that I've not really been active on YouTube this year, and two major issues in my life just reached a boiling point, and I'm a mess. Everything is a mess. I've not been taking care of myself, but things are finally moving forward. So I'm back here. And yeah, so let me begin with the lineup that I had at the start of the year, which is around 6 books, which I also feel was a little bit of a problem because I took up way too many books than what I could handle. I generally deal with around 3 books in a year, but this was just not the year for me to take up so many planners, and maybe that was also an issue as such. So this planner that you see here is my main one, where which is the A5 Horn, where I have everything personal included, and this is the one which I generally show flip throughs of on my channel. Right now, I will do a quick short flip through, not of all the spreads, just some of them, so that you get an idea of how it has been this year uh, in my planner. Now, keep in mind that one of the major reasons that I'm showing this planner is because often on YouTube, um, people, including me, tend to show planners where it is all filled up, and there is this impression that that is how a planner should look like. Not necessarily so, because it is not really practical to have a planner that is completely filled up all the time. Now, in this case, what I can tell you is that I have a planner that is largely empty because life happened, and I'm still willing to show it because you are supposed to be aware of how a regular planner would look like, not just a pretty planner on YouTube. Now, I'll begin with the spreads in order. So, I have the initial spreads like the yearly spread where I have tracked my income, which was consistent. Then the index is completely empty. The monthly spread is the only spread in the planner where I have been really consistent. So, throughout all the months, I have filled up all the major events that have happened that month. Um, all the bills that have to be noted down, any numbers that have to pop up over here. Everything has been tracked over here because this will show me the highlights later when I want to refer to the month, even though I've not really gone into any details in the later spreads. Then we have the weekly spreads. Don't get overwhelmed by this. This is how I started. Then it is just emptiness in the later spreads. So you can see over here, I tried to set up the spread, I just didn't fill it up. It's largely empty, okay? Um, Not at all consistent with the spreads in most of the months. I think Jan and Feb, maybe I tried to do a little, but then beyond that, this planner has largely been empty. Obviously, I'm trying to get back to it now. That is why you see it filled up again. But as of otherwise, there are a lot of blank spreads. Moving ahead to the dailies, it is the same story. Initially, I was trying to write quite well, but then as the year progressed, you will notice that there are a lot of blank spreads. In fact, even from Feb itself, it just turned, I think, quite worse in the later months where it was just emptiness and emptiness. What I can tell you is that even without flipping through it, okay, there are a lot of empty spreads. I think at the start of September, I went back to some of the later months like July and August and filled some of the major events that took place because I'm not going to show that because it is extremely personal. And I just filled those up so that I'm aware of what happened, why it happened, and everything. So, other than that, if you notice, my spreads are largely blank. So, I've not at all been consistent with these spreads as such, even though here and there I try to make an attempt to come back to it. As you can see, it's all empty. And I think this is the first time that I kind of regretted getting the cousin because it is so huge. Generally, I have this idea that it is better to have more space rather than less space, but then it was just a lot of blank spreads this year, which hurt me a lot that this planner, beautiful planner, is just going to waste. Um, Anyway, as you can see here and there on the other side, I filled it up, but I'm not going through that. Currently, I'm trying to get back to it in September where I've started filling it up again. But anyway, now coming to the last spreads, at the back, what I have is basically my um, books to read list. Same issue. I started off well, but then somewhere along the way just dropped it all off because I just couldn't. Even now, I'm not back to this. That is the truth. It is still empty. There is no reading happening. So much should have been completed, but not happening at all. So I think this was the last thing that I read. I actually finished this one. This one I left halfway, but I've not even updated that over here, as you can see. So it happens, okay, where at times in life, maybe you are so stressed out, or you have so much work, and ideally it would look like you're supposed to use your planner a lot more, but you just don't use it. So this was my main planner. Okay, now going into the next one, because we have already spent too much time on that one. I'll try to go through the next ones quickly. So this is my work planner. So this is what I'm quite happy with. My work planner is a place where I've been extremely consistent with. I think this is the planner that I used the most this year. I just poured myself into my work, and yeah, it went pretty well in terms of using this planner. So this is an easy teacher planner in case you don't recognize it. Why I love this is, let me show you a blank spread. Okay, so this is what a blank spread looks like. So what I do is, this is a dated planner which I redate according to my needs. So what I just do is I use whiteout and then date on top here, because I don't like this layout. I like it on top. I like it vertical. And then I love these boxes so that I can divide my work information accordingly. So this has been really well used this year, and I wish I could go into further details, but I really can't show any information on this planner, so we will keep it short for this one, but I'm quite happy with how this went. Now the next one also is a success. So this, as you see here, is a Hobonichi Weeks, which I used without any other cover. It's a mess, but I loved using it. This is, again, let's see whether I can show an empty one. Yes, okay. Okay, this is my church planner, not my faith planner. So this is like an empty spread, which the left hand side is filled up with my reading plan, but generally all of this, even this area, empty space, gets filled up. So it's almost filled up at the back pages also. If you want to know how to use this planner, I will let you know about it. But since this is not a how-to video, I'm just keeping it short with, I have been very consistent with taking this planner while I go to church and filling it up whenever I get the chance. And this is so easy to carry around. It goes as a great companion to the Bible that I use, which is basically in this Hobonichi cover. So easy to carry around, both lightweight as such. Now coming to the last three, which I'll try to club it all together and say, so this was a failure. This is not really a planner. This is actually, this has two Hobonichi books in it, in a Hobonichi cover, which was supposed to be for study purposes, where I wanted to answer an exam and, prepare for that by using this book or these books. And I just didn't answer it. I didn't even, complete the registration or do anything for it, because not possible. So I think I just used like 2 or 3 pages in it initially in the month of Jan, and that's about it. This was a complete failure. I am not completely dropping the idea. I may come back to it maybe another year. I'm not even sure whether I can do this next year, but I want to come back to this. So hopefully, it will work out later. Now this one is a happy one, because this was not there in my initial lineup, because this is actually a 2022 mega that you see over here. When I began my initial lineup, I had a different Hobonichi Weeks, basically a used Weeks, just to clarify. This is not a new planner. So what I do is every year I choose an old used planner which has pages left, and reuse it for the purposes of brain dumping or brainstorming, and that is it. I already finished that book. That is why I've taken another old book. This is also another old one, and I think I've reached almost somewhere around, yes. Okay, I have these many pages left. I've already finished this much. So, and this is the second book this year. So what I do with this is I tend to carry it to work also at times, and sometimes I plan on it. It's a lot of rough planning, and sometimes I just want to let things out of my mind, because there is so much going on and I just want to, take it all out. Maybe thoughts, way too many thoughts. And I love doing this, and I can be as messy as I want. It's an old planner. I will probably finish this in December, Even if I don't finish it, it's not an issue. I can just continue with the same book for next year because it's not really a planner as such, and the dates also don't matter. So I can continue with it, but in case I finish this, I will just move on to another used old book that I have and try to complete the pages in that. So in this way, what happens is that I'm also making use of those books instead of just keeping them here, okay, where it remains unused and makes me sad. This way it makes me quite happy that I've completed using the book. So this is something that you could do with your old planners that didn't work out, or any other old notebooks that you have. Now the last one, I don't really have it with me. Okay, so it's basically an A5 size Archer and Olive, I think dated planner, which was supposed to be my language planner, but again a complete flop. It didn't work out, even though I had such big plans for it. So maybe in Jan, I think I gave up on it pretty soon. It just didn't work out as such. So, a short recap would be that I've had two major success in terms of my work and church planner, and the third one, which is not a planner, was the last brainstorming brain dump book that I showed you. And I've had two complete failures in terms of the language planner as well as the study planner or study notebook, and one okay, which is this one, because I won't say this was a complete failure because I still managed to note down the major events that happened so that I can look back on it and know why it was empty as such for the most part of it. um, yeah, so this was how it went. Keep in mind that it is not always easy to have those pretty planner spreads all the time, and definitely not easy to have even filled up planner spreads, because sometimes life just gets way too difficult for you, and you may have a lot of empty spreads to deal with and it can be overwhelming. But I hope you continue to, you know still move forward and continue to effectively use your planners by trying to make an attempt at them. Even now I am getting back in my planners, and that makes me happy as such. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.